Alex had always thought his life was ordinary. He woke up, brewed his coffee, went to work, and came home to the small apartment he shared with Lyra. The city outside was alive with noise, bright lights, and the hum of flying vehicles, but inside things were calm, almost cozy. Lyra, his roommate, was anything but ordinary. She was an alien from a distant star system, sent to observe humanity, but more than that, she had become a friend. Her violet skin shimmered faintly in sunlight, and her eyes were pools of liquid silver, always reflecting the world in ways Alex could never fully understand. Despite her alien nature, life with Lyra had always been predictable. She cooked strange but delicious meals, hummed tunes that seemed to come from another dimension, and had a laugh that made Alex feel like the universe itself was smiling. He had grown used to her odd habits, like floating an inch above the ground when she was excited, or the way she sometimes spoke in languages he couldn't hear, only feel in his chest. But that morning, the ordinary routine was broken. Alex woke to a light that wasn't from the sun. Golden, warm, and almost alive, it filled the room and made everything glow as if the apartment itself had become a portal. He sat up, rubbing his eyes, and froze. Lyra was not on her usual spot by the window where she liked to watch the city wake up. Instead, she floated in the middle of the room, completely still, her gaze fixed on him. "Good morning," she said. The words seemed normal, but the sound was different. It was deeper, resonant, and somehow vibrating through the floor, walls, and into Alex's chest. His heart skipped a beat. Something was wrong, or maybe just different. "Lyra," he asked cautiously, his voice hoarse. "Are you okay?" His hands shook slightly as he reached for his coffee mug, but before he could grasp it, the mug lifted off the counter and hovered in midair. Lyra raised her hand, and the mug rotated gently, sparkling as if tiny stars had formed on its surface. "What? How are you doing that?" Alex stammered, taking a cautious step back. Lyra smiled, a small, serene curve of her lips, yet it was different from the playful, mischievous smile he knew. This smile had authority. "I can feel energies now. Quantum threads, gravitational currents, the flow of consciousness. It is all connected. I never noticed it before, but now I can. I can interact with it." "Interact with what? Wait, you're saying you changed overnight?" He had always admired humans' resilience and ingenuity, but hearing an alien, someone with powers he couldn't even imagine, talk about humanity's potential made him feel both proud and inadequate. "More aware, what does that mean? Are you dangerous?" "I am still your roommate, Alex, but I am stronger, smarter, faster, more attuned. And I think humans may need me to be more than a friend now." Lyra was becoming something extraordinary, something that could shape the fate of the planet. He took a cautious step closer. "But why now? Why did it happen overnight?" "Humans have an unpredictable spark. I felt it, and it accelerated my evolution. You were the catalyst." Lyra extended her hand, and the golden light returned, swirling around her fingers. "Come with me. I want to show you something." He felt the pulse of the universe in his veins, as if he could sense the flow of energy through everything around him. "It's overwhelming," he whispered, staggering back slightly. "Yes," Lyra said, her voice gentle. "But this is your gift too. Humans are capable of incredible things. You create, adapt, survive. You fight against odds that would crush other species. That spark, it resonates with me, and now I can amplify it." He had spent years dreaming about exploring the stars, about finding proof that humanity was not alone, but he had never imagined that the key would be his own roommate, changed overnight into something extraordinary. They moved through the apartment together, and Alex noticed subtle changes in Lyra. Her eyes reflected not just silver, but swirling galaxies. Her movements were precise, effortless, yet carried a fluid grace that was almost hypnotic. Objects responded to her presence. Pens floated, books opened to random pages, and the city outside seemed to shimmer as if acknowledging her new form. "You're incredible," Alex said softly. He didn't know how else to express the mix of awe and fear he felt. Lyra smiled, but it was tinged with seriousness. "Incredible is a word for humans. I am something else now, but I am still connected to you, to this world. That is important. That connection is what will guide me and maybe guide humanity too." She moved objects with thought alone, altered the glow of lights, and even created small illusions that danced in the air, playful and beautiful. But there was a weight to her now, a sense of responsibility that had not been there before. Alex realized that the Lyra he had known, the playful, gentle roommate, was gone. In her place was a being who had seen the universe in ways he could barely comprehend, and she had chosen to remain on Earth, close to him, close to humanity. The day passed with Alex alternating between wonder and exhaustion. He tried to act normal, but his thoughts kept returning to one question. What did this mean for humanity? Lyra had spoken of evolution, of resonance, of amplifying human potential. But how? And why him? That evening, as they sat on the balcony overlooking the city, Lyra spoke again. Alex, humans underestimate themselves. They think they are fragile, limited. But your species has something no other can match. Creativity born from struggle, courage born from fear, and hope that persists even when everything seems lost. I felt it in you, and I want to help it grow. And perhaps it is time humanity was ready for what is out there. You may not see it yet, Alex, but humans are capable of greatness, and I intend to help them realize it. In ways he could not yet understand, the universe had pulled him into something extraordinary, something that would test humanity's courage, ingenuity, and spirit. As he went to bed that night, Alex stared at the ceiling, unable to sleep. He thought about the stars, the city, and the life he had always taken for granted. Somewhere out there, the universe was watching. And now so were they, Lyra, and through her, humanity itself. And Alex, for the first time in his life, felt like he was part of something truly extraordinary. The morning sun streamed through the apartment windows, bouncing off the walls and painting the room in a warm, golden glow. Alex rubbed his eyes and glanced at Lyra, who was already standing by the window, her gaze fixed on the city below. She no longer moved like the playful roommate he had known. Every motion was precise, deliberate, and full of energy that seemed to hum in the air. "Good morning," she said softly, though her voice carried an unusual resonance. It was not loud, but the words seemed to vibrate in the very air around Alex. He swallowed hard, feeling a strange mix of awe and nervousness. "Good morning," he said, unsure how to respond. You're already up." Then her eyes shifted, revealing something vast and impossible, a swirling depth that seemed to contain stars and galaxies. "I've been observing," she said. "The city, the people, the patterns of life. I want to understand them better, to know where humanity could go next." It was hard to imagine that the Lyra who used to make breakfast and laugh at his jokes was now thinking about the entire human race. "Patterns? What do you mean?" "I can trace them and I can amplify them." She extended her hands, and the air around them shimmered as if invisible currents were visible. "These threads, they show me where potential lies and where it can grow." Humans underestimate themselves, but when they realize their own strength, they can do incredible things. We start by observing more closely. Humanity faces challenges every day, some small, some significant. I want to see how humans respond, and I want to test what they can do when they realize their potential. I will create small scenarios to see their response. It will be subtle but enough to spark growth. Do you trust me, Alex? "I trust you." People rushed to their windows, cars slowed, and the hum of the city paused as if holding its breath. "Did you do that?" Alex asked, alarmed. Lyra shook her head. "I did not. This is human-made, a minor technical failure, but notice how people react." They're working together," he said, surprised. Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Exactly. Humans respond to challenges in ways few other species could. They invent, adapt, cooperate. And when they see themselves as capable, they shine even brighter." Strangers helped strangers, small acts of kindness becoming beacons in the dark. Lyra had shown him the energy within humans, but seeing it in action was different. It was real, tangible, and beautiful. Over the next few days, Lyra guided Alex through subtle interventions. She would create tiny anomalies, an object floating briefly, a light flickering in an unusual pattern, or a small machine malfunctioning. Each time, Alex would watch as humans discovered solutions, adapted, and overcame. He began to notice patterns, moments where ingenuity sparked progress, courage inspired others, and simple hope changed outcomes. One evening, they sat in the apartment as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. "Alex," Lyra said, "humans often fail to see their own strength. They doubt themselves, and yet, look at what they can do when they try." "How brave." Small nudges showing potential, sparking courage, inspiring hope. "And you, Alex, you will help me observe. You understand them in ways I cannot. You feel their fears, their joys, their hopes. And that is why I chose to stay on Earth. Humans are remarkable. If they realize their own potential, they can achieve greatness that even the stars would notice." Alex accompanied Lyra as she guided small groups of people, sometimes a team of engineers solving a complex problem, sometimes a child discovering a new invention. sometimes a community coming together to overcome a local crisis. Each time, Alex marveled at the creativity, courage, and resilience of humans. One evening, they walked through a park watching children play under the fading light. A small machine toy had malfunctioned, and the children's frustration was visible. Lyra knelt and touched the device gently. The gears realigned, lights blinked, and the toy sprang to life again. The children cheered, their eyes wide with wonder. Alex smiled, watching the joy on their faces. "It's amazing how small things can make such a big difference," he said. Lyra nodded. "Exactly. Potential is not always grand. Sometimes it is small, hidden, waiting for the right moment to shine. And when humans see it, they grow stronger, they learn, they inspire others." She was not creating solutions for them. She was creating situations where they could discover their own strength. One night, as they sat on the balcony, Alex asked a question that had been on his mind for days. "Lyra, why me? Why involve me in all of this? You understand their courage and their doubts. I can guide, I can observe, I can amplify, but you experience. And that experience allows me to connect, to understand the human spirit more deeply." The city below continued to buzz with life. People faced challenges, big and small, yet they adapted, created, and persevered. Alex realized that Lyra's sudden evolution was not just about her power. It was about the human spirit she had chosen to amplify. And in witnessing it, he saw something remarkable. The ordinary moments of life, the small acts of courage, the creative solutions born from struggle were what truly defined greatness. Weeks passed, and the bond between Alex and Lyra deepened. She no longer seemed like just a roommate or an observer. She was a partner in understanding, a guide in the subtle art of growth. And Alex, in turn, began to see himself differently. He was no longer just a human trying to navigate life. He was a witness, a participant, and perhaps even a catalyst in humanity's evolution. One night, Lyra turned to him with a seriousness that made his stomach tighten. "Alex, the universe is vast. Humans are capable, but there are forces beyond this city, this planet, even this solar system that may test them. When that time comes, I want you ready. Humanity will need more than courage. They will need ingenuity, hope, and resilience, and I will help them see that they already have it." He had no idea what the future held, but one thing was clear: life had changed forever. His roommate had changed overnight, and in doing so had changed the way he saw the world, humanity, and himself. The night sky stretched endlessly above them, dotted with stars and distant galaxies. Alex realized that humanity was not alone, and perhaps, thanks to Lyra, it would soon realize the greatness it had always possessed. And in that moment, as the city slept below and the stars shone above, Alex felt something he had never felt before, a spark of hope, bright and unshakable, lighting the path for humanity's future. Alex woke to the sound of alarms blaring from every screen in the apartment. The city outside seemed different, tense, alive with urgency. People hurried through the streets, their movements sharper, faster, yet controlled. Lights flickered in the distance, and unusual patterns of energy rippled across the skyline. Lyra floated near the window, her eyes reflecting streams of data only she could see. "Something is happening," she said, her voice calm but firm. "It is not a random occurrence. This is a test. I want to see how humans respond on a larger scale now. We have observed small challenges. Now it is time for something more significant." And yet Lyra was confident that humanity would rise to meet the challenge. The first signs of strain appeared within hours. Power grids flickered unpredictably, transportation systems slowed, and communication networks stuttered. Yet, amid the confusion, Alex noticed something remarkable. People adapted quickly. Teams of engineers, first responders, and ordinary citizens coordinated to stabilize systems. Drones were deployed to monitor critical areas, traffic flows were redirected, and automated messages guided residents to safety. Lyra smiled faintly. "Do you see, Alex? The threads of human ingenuity are weaving together. Chaos reveals potential. Every challenge is a mirror, showing what humans are truly capable of." They're really doing it. The city's energy systems were overwhelmed intermittently, creating waves of disruption. Vehicles stalled mid-traffic, elevators paused between floors, and screens across the city flashed warning signals. Panic could have spread, but instead, something remarkable happened. People worked together. Strangers helped each other. Engineers formed impromptu teams, citizens relayed information, and children stayed calm because adults showed courage. Alex watched it unfold with awe. "It's like they've been preparing for this all along," he said. "Even without knowing what's coming, they adapt. They solve problems. They help each other. Humans are remarkable because they create solutions from nothing. They take what is available, their knowledge, their skills, their courage, and they combine it in ways no one expects. That is why I am here, to observe, guide, and amplify their potential." She could intervene directly, but she chose to let humans take the lead, to find their own solutions, and to see themselves as capable of greatness. Hours passed, and the city slowly adapted to the anomaly. Alex followed Lyra as she analyzed patterns, pinpointing areas of extraordinary human creativity. In one neighborhood, a group of teenagers rigged a temporary energy grid using old batteries and solar panels. In another, a team of engineers repaired a critical transport hub using only makeshift tools and quick thinking. People were rising to challenges in ways that even Lyra hadn't anticipated. Alex felt a thrill of pride. Humans were not just surviving, they were thriving under pressure. Their courage, intelligence, and cooperation created sparks that illuminated the darkness. "They're amazing," he said softly. Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the city below. "Yes, and that is why I am here, to help them see what they already possess. Potential is not given, it is discovered, tested, and nurtured." Energy surges created unusual phenomena. Lights bending oddly in the sky, devices responding unpredictably, and waves of subtle force shifting objects slightly. The city had become a live experiment, yet humans continued to adapt. Emergency response teams coordinated seamlessly, neighborhoods formed self-organizing groups to manage safety, and citizens supported one another with remarkable calm and intelligence. Alex felt his heart swell. "It's more than I imagined. Even with all the chaos, they don't give up. They keep thinking, acting, helping. The universe may test them, circumstances may change unexpectedly, but they continue. They create solutions, inspire each other, and find hope even in uncertainty. That spark, that is what I wanted to witness, and it is far stronger than I anticipated." The anomaly was growing, faster than either of them had expected. He looked at Lyra, worry in his eyes. She held up a hand, golden threads of energy streaming from her fingers, stabilizing the vibrations around them. "Stay calm, Alex. Humans can handle this. But now it will require more than adaptation. It will require innovation, quick thinking, teamwork, and courage under uncertainty. Observe closely." In one district, a small group of engineers rerouted power through temporary connections, keeping essential hospitals running. In another, citizens built makeshift communication networks using radios and improvised antennas. Children helped adults in simple, ingenious ways, showing that everyone had a role to play. Alex realized that these weren't isolated acts. They were collective problem-solving at a scale he had never imagined. And Lyra, while immensely powerful, did not interfere directly. She guided subtly, amplifying energy and providing insight when necessary, but always letting humans take the lead. Hours later, as the city stabilized, Alex turned to her. "They did it, they really did it. It's extraordinary. They rise when challenged. They find strength they didn't know they had. And help me guide them further." The night sky stretched above them, dotted with stars and distant galaxies. Alex understood that humanity had passed its first major test, not because it was guided by Lyra's power, but because it had discovered its own courage, creativity, and determination. Lyra turned to him, her gaze softening. "Alex, the universe is vast, and challenges will continue to arrive. Humanity will face them in ways no one expects. But if they trust themselves, if they collaborate, if they embrace their potential, there is nothing they cannot achieve. It's not about power, it's about showing what humans already have." The challenges ahead were unknown, but he was ready. Humanity had proven itself capable of incredible feats today, and with Lyra guiding subtly from above, he knew they could face whatever came next. As the city below settled for the night, Alex and Lyra watched in quiet reflection. They were partners now, two beings from different worlds, united in their mission to help humanity realize its potential. The universe was vast, mysterious, and full of tests. But for the first time, Alex felt confident that humans were ready to meet them. And somewhere deep inside, he felt a spark of hope, a belief that humanity, guided by courage, creativity, and resilience, could rise to any challenge, no matter how great. The morning air was sharp and clear as Alex stepped onto the balcony. The city below hummed with life, but there was an unusual tension in the streets. People moved quickly, yet purposefully, their eyes alert. Something had shifted overnight. Lyra floated beside him, her silver eyes scanning the horizon. "Alex," she said calmly, "the anomaly is expanding. What began as a small disturbance is now interacting with multiple energy sources across the city. Humans will face their most complex challenge yet." He had seen humans rise to challenges before, but this was bigger. The anomaly pulsed in the distance, casting waves of light that bent unnaturally around the city. Screens flickered, streetlights dimmed, and the faint hum of electricity seemed uneven, as though the city's energy itself was alive. Lyra turned to him. "Today, humans will need more than courage. They will need strategy, creativity, and trust in one another. I will guide, but their choices will shape the outcome." There was fear, yes, but there was also determination, ingenuity, and collaboration. The first signs of the anomaly's impact became visible within hours. Traffic systems failed in bursts, causing cars and hover vehicles to stall. Communication networks stuttered, leaving parts of the city temporarily isolated. Power grids fluctuated, forcing buildings to rely on backup systems. Yet amid the chaos, Alex saw remarkable coordination. People formed spontaneous teams to address each problem. Citizens shared resources, engineers improvised tools, and ordinary workers became leaders, guiding others through challenges they had never faced before. Lyra floated above, golden threads of energy streaming from her fingers, subtly nudging critical areas without directly intervening. "Observe how they organize," she said. "Humans excel when they trust one another, even in uncertainty. This is where their true power lies." Children helped with small tasks, carrying messages or distributing water. The city had become a living demonstration of human ingenuity. "Look at them," Alex whispered, his voice tinged with awe. "Even when everything seems to fail, they find a way. They work together, solve problems, and adapt faster than anyone expects. When challenged, they innovate, they cooperate, and they inspire each other to go further. This is why I evolved, to witness and amplify what humans already possess." Trees swayed unnaturally, water in fountains rippled oddly, and the air seemed charged with an unseen force. Alex felt the tension in the threads of energy he could sense. People below were being tested like never before. Small mistakes could create confusion, but humans continued to adapt, learning in real time. They communicated with hand signals, improvised devices, and made decisions quickly. Lyra moved to a higher vantage point, her eyes reflecting constellations Alex had never seen. "Watch closely, Alex. Humans will demonstrate creativity beyond what I predicted. Observe how they combine knowledge, courage, and instinct to overcome obstacles. Every challenge reveals a new spark." Alex watched as engineers, transit workers, and volunteers collaborated to restore function. They used unconventional solutions, rerouting power through nearby structures, creating makeshift signaling systems, and guiding commuters safely. The hub returned to operation in record time. Nearby, a small community faced water shortages due to fluctuating pumps. Residents quickly organized, forming chains to transport water manually. Engineers rigged backup systems using discarded components. Children helped by distributing water and keeping morale high. Alex felt a lump in his throat at their determination. Lyra's voice resonated beside him. "Notice how humans adapt not only individually but collectively. Their ability to cooperate, to inspire one another, and to innovate is their greatest strength. No other species could manage such complex, coordinated responses so quickly." Emergency systems strained under the load, testing the limits of human ingenuity. Alex looked at Lyra, worry evident in his expression. This is bigger than anything I've seen. Can they handle it?" "Watch how they rise to meet it." Children, teenagers, and adults all contributed, using creativity and problem-solving to overcome obstacles. Alex's awe grew with every passing hour. "They're not just surviving," he said. "They're solving problems, inspiring each other, and staying calm. They're extraordinary. They create solutions under pressure. That is what the universe needs to see. That is why I evolved." Citizens reinforced vulnerable structures using whatever materials were available. Every act, no matter how small, contributed to the larger solution. Alex realized that the human ability to observe, learn, and act collectively was unmatched. Even Lyra's advanced senses could only enhance the potential humans already possessed. She could guide, stabilize, and amplify, but she did not solve the problems for them. Lyra hovered near him, her golden threads connecting subtly to human energy around the city. "Alex," she said, "see how humans face not just technical challenges but emotional ones. Fear, uncertainty, frustration, yet they persist. They inspire each other. They combine intellect with empathy. That is the essence of their strength." Humans had faced the anomaly and adapted beyond expectations. Small acts of courage and intelligence multiplied across the city had created a resilient, functioning system. Alex turned to Lyra, his eyes wide. "They did it. They actually did it. They discovered solutions, inspired one another, and demonstrated the potential I sought to witness. And they did it without my direct interference. Their strength comes from within." Lyra smiled. "Exactly. And that is why I am here, not to impose power but to reveal potential. Humans are capable of brilliance, courage, and innovation beyond what they imagine. They only need a chance to discover it." They had demonstrated creativity, resilience, and collaboration on an unprecedented scale. Lyra's subtle guidance had amplified their efforts, but the solutions had come from the humans themselves. He felt a sense of pride in being a witness and a participant. He had seen sparks of ingenuity, courage, and hope that could shape humanity's future. And he understood Lyra's purpose, to help humans see what they already possessed and to amplify it for the challenges ahead. Lyra floated closer to him, her eyes reflecting the stars above. "Alex, the universe is vast. Humans will face greater challenges, more complex situations, and forces beyond this city. But if they trust themselves, cooperate, and embrace their potential, they will succeed. And I will be here, observing, guiding, and amplifying what is already within them. Perhaps larger, perhaps more unpredictable, but humanity now knows its strength. And when the universe tests them again, they will rise. That is what I evolved to witness and to help nurture." With Lyra guiding subtly, and humans discovering their own potential, he believed they could face anything. And as the night deepened and stars shone above the city, Alex understood that the greatest strength humans had was not just courage or intelligence, but the ability to rise together, to innovate, to inspire, and to hope. And in that understanding, he knew that humanity was ready for whatever the universe had in store. The city was quiet as dawn broke, but Alex felt the tension in the air. The anomaly, which had been growing slowly over weeks, had reached a scale none had seen before. Energy waves pulsed in strange rhythms, twisting lights in the sky, bending signals, and shifting the environment in subtle but powerful ways. Lyra floated near the balcony, her violet skin shimmering softly in the early morning light. Her eyes reflected the chaos of the city below, but there was a calm determination in her gaze. "Alex," she said, "this is the final stage of the test. The anomaly will challenge humans like never before. Their courage, ingenuity, and cooperation will be pushed to the limit. I will guide, but they must act themselves. Every choice they make will determine the outcome." The threads of energy Lyra allowed him to feel pulsed with urgency and potential. Fear, determination, creativity, hope, they were all intertwined, flowing through every person below. "They'll do it, won't they?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Lyra's gaze softened, a faint smile touching her lips. "They must. They have the potential. And today, they will discover just how capable they are." Teams of engineers rushed to stabilize critical systems, improvising with what they had. Citizens guided one another through streets where traffic lights had failed. Emergency services coordinated seamlessly, communicating with radios, gestures, and simple signals. Each human acted not only for themselves, but for others around them. Lyra's golden threads of energy swirled gently above, subtly amplifying the human's potential, nudging solutions into alignment without solving the problems for them. "Watch how they work together," she told Alex. "The strongest strength of humans is their ability to cooperate. Individually, they are clever, but together they can overcome anything." Children, teenagers, and adults alike contributed, each act small but significant, weaving a larger solution together. "They're amazing," Alex whispered. "Even in this chaos, they're finding ways to help each other, solve problems, and keep going. Every challenge reveals new potential. They do not give up because they see value in themselves and in one another." Yet humans continue to act, using knowledge, improvisation, and ingenuity to maintain order and safety. In one part of the city, a group of engineers constructed a temporary communication network using radios, repurposed antennas, and solar power. Across the city, volunteers distributed food, water, and supplies, keeping morale high. Communities self-organized, finding solutions faster than anyone could have predicted. Alex watched, amazed, as humans revealed their true potential under extreme pressure. Lyra turned to him. Notice how humans innovate under challenge. They combine what they know with what they can imagine. That is their greatest strength, creativity guided by necessity. They're not working alone, they're thinking together, sharing ideas, helping each other. The city's energy systems strained under the pressure, and small structures wobbled under the shifting forces. Yet humans continued to adapt. Engineers reinforced weakened buildings, volunteers guided people to safety, and technology was repurposed on the fly to stabilize critical systems. Even the smallest acts, a person carrying a water container, a child helping an elderly neighbor, contributed to the overall effort. Alex felt a lump in his throat. He had seen courage before, but this was something more. It was creativity, intelligence, empathy, and resilience combined in real time, multiplied across millions of individuals. Humans were not just surviving, they were thriving. Lyra's golden threads shimmered above the city, subtly synchronizing the efforts. They do not need me to solve their problems, she said softly. I am here to guide, to amplify, to help them see what they are capable of, but all solutions are theirs. They are proving their potential to themselves and to the universe. The final test. Engineers rerouted energy through makeshift grids, volunteers guided people safely through unstable areas, and teams coordinated complex logistics to maintain communication and supply chains. Even children, though small, contributed by running messages, assisting in minor repairs, and offering support to those in need. Alex felt awe swell within him. They're incredible. Every person doing what they can, every action matters. A group of engineers, teenagers, and volunteers constructed a temporary energy distribution system, rerouting power to hospitals, transportation hubs, and critical infrastructure. Citizens coordinated safety measures for those in vulnerable areas. People moved calmly and decisively, each act contributing to a larger solution. Alex's heart raced. They're doing it. They're solving it themselves. The city systems returned to normal, and the people's collaborative efforts had prevented disaster. Citizens cheered, hugged, and celebrated quietly, recognizing the power of working together. Alex turned to Lyra, his eyes shining. They did it. They really did it. Not because of my power, but because of their courage, intelligence, and ability to cooperate. Today, humans demonstrated brilliance that even I could not have fully predicted. This is what you meant when you said humans have potential. They discovered it themselves today. That is what the universe respects. That is what makes humans extraordinary. Not to take power, not to dominate, but to witness potential and help it flourish. Humans can face any challenge if they believe in themselves and work together. That is the essence of greatness. He had seen courage, creativity, and hope multiplied across millions of people, creating solutions that no single person could achieve alone. Lyra turned to him, her gaze reflective and calm. Alex, humanity now knows its strength. They have faced the final test and risen. Their courage, ingenuity, and cooperation have changed the course of this city, and perhaps the universe's view of your species. Remember this moment. It will guide you and all humans in the days ahead. Today, they proved they are capable of anything. And nothing will be impossible if they continue to trust in themselves and each other. And Lyra, evolved and radiant, had guided without controlling, allowing humans to discover their own strength. Alex looked at the city below, a living tapestry of life, courage, and potential. He realized that humans were not only ready to face the universe, they were ready to inspire it. And he knew with absolute certainty that humanity's story was only beginning. For the first time, he understood what Lyra had meant. Humans were extraordinary. They were creative, resilient, cooperative, and brave, and with every challenge, they would rise higher. And in that moment, Alex smiled, knowing that the universe had witnessed the brilliance of humanity and that the best was yet to come.